We shall commence this module by discussing about the IMF and World Bank. The International Monetary Fund, popularly known as IMF, and the World Bank are the institutions in the United Nations system. These both were created in a summit at Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, United States in July 1944. The goal of the conference was to create a framework for economic cooperation and development that would lead to a more stable and prosperous global economy, and any major event like Great Depression could be averted. Both institutions are considered to be an important milestone in international economic cooperation. Keeping the central goal in mind, both institutions do keep evolving according to the new economic changes. IMF's mandate. IMF, also known as the fund, ensures the stability of the international monetary system to keep the system of exchange rates and international payments stable, that enables the countries to deal with one another. To uphold stability and avoid crisis, IMF reviews the policies of its member countries and national, regional, global, economic and financial developments through a formal system known as surveillance. IMF provides its members countries the required funds they need to correct their balance of payment problems. IMF loans are short as well as long term, and these loans are funded from the collection of quota contributions that its members make available. The staff at IMF is primarily economists with extensive experience in macroeconomic and financial policies, who provides technical assistance and training to help the member countries make stronger their ability to design and put into practice effective policies. World Bank's mandate. World Bank, since its commencement in 1944 at Bretton Woods, has expanded from one institution, IBRD, to 5. Its mission evolved from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, known as IBRD, as catalyst of development and reconstruction after the war, to the current day mandate of worldwide poverty alleviation in coordination with other 4 affiliates by offering financial and technical support to help countries reform specific sectors or put into operation specific projects, for example, build schools, health centers, provide water and electricity, fight disease and protect the environment. After studying this module, you shall be able to know how IMF and World Bank was set up, learn the functions of IMF and World Bank, identify the member and their contribution, evaluate the present international monetary system with the past, analyze the current situation with respect to India. Let us first discuss about the IMF, known as International Monetary Fund. The founding father of IMF and the World Bank are John Maynard Keynes and Harry Dexter White. The role of IMF is to promote economic growth at the global level through international trade and lead towards financial stability. The IMF currently has a membership of 188 countries. In April 2012, IMF was joined by Republic of South Sudan, becoming the institution's 188th member. Objective of IMF. As stated in the Articles of Agreement, The following are the objectives of IMF. First, to promote cooperation in international monetary system. Second, to facilitate spreading out and balanced growth of international trade, thereby leading to higher employment levels, real income and development of member countries. Third, to maintain exchange arrangements in order among member and to avoid exchange depreciation in a competitive manner. Fourth, to expand trade by the elimination of restrictions to the foreign exchange. Fifth, provide funds to its member countries so that they can deal with the deficits in their balance of payments. Through these objectives, IMF tries to lessen the time period of disequilibrium in international transactions between member countries. IMF and subscriptions. The membership clause of the fund provides that any country can become a member if, first, the country is willing to become a member of the World Bank. Second, the country is willing to pay subscriptions. Starting from the initial membership of 31 countries in 1945, it now has 188 countries. Every member must agree to pay a subscription. The subscription is based on the quotas. IMF quotas. Mostly the amount for IMF loans are pooled in by the member countries through the payment of quotas. Each member of IMF is provided with a quota amount which it joins the IMF. The quota is assigned according to the comparative position in the world's economy. The quota of a member country determines its maximum financial obligation to the IMF, its voting power, and it has an impact on its access to IMF financing. The current quota formula is a weighted average of GDP, weight of 50%, openness 30%, economic variability 15% and international reserves 5%. For this reason, GDP is measured through a blend of GDP based on market exchange rates, weight of 60% and on PPP exchange rate 40%. Quotas are denominated in special drawing rights known as SDRs, the IMF unit of account. The United States is the largest member of IMF with the current quota of SDR 42.1 billion, which is about $65 million, and the smallest member is Tuvalu with a current quota of SDR 1.8 million, which is about $2.78 million. A member's quota subscription determines the maximum amount of financial resources the member is obliged to provide to the IMF. When a member joins the fund, it needs to pay the subscription in full. Up to 25 must be paid in SDRs or generally accepted currencies such as US dollar, yen, pound sterling or euro, while the rest can be given in the member nation's own currency. The maximum amount of financing a member can obtain from the IMF is based on its quota. A member can borrow up to 200% of its quota annually and 600% cumulatively. However, access may be higher in exceptional circumstances. Next is IMF conditionality. When a country borrows from IMF, its government agrees to adjust its economic policies to rise above the problems that brought the economy to a situation where it had to look for financial help from the international community. These loan conditions are necessary because they are there to ensure that the country will be able to repay the fund so that the resources can be made available to the other members in need as well. Lending by the IMF always involves policy conditions. IMF conditionality majorly focused on macroeconomic policies till the 1980s. Subsequently, the intricacy and reach of structural conditions improved, indicating the IMF's growing concern in low income and transition countries where economic stability and growth was hampered by the structural problems. The guiding principle on conditionality were revised in 2002 following a comprehensive review. In March 2009, the IMF further restructured its conditionality framework in the context of an all-inclusive reform to build up its capacity to avoid and find solution to the crisis. Liquidity of IMF special drawing rights. The IMF tries to keep its resources in liquid form. However, the fund has resources in gold also. In 1969, through an amendment, IMF introduced special drawing rights known as SDR. The special drawing right is an international reserve asset formed by the IMF in 1969. This was formed to further enhance the official reserve of the member countries. The value of SDR is based on a basket of 4 main international currencies and it can be exchanged for freely usable currency. To begin with, SDR's value was kept equal to 0.888671 gram of fine gold, which was equal to $1 at that point of time. Today, it consists of the pound sterling, euro, Japanese yen, pound sterling and US dollar. Its value is calculated as the sum of specific amounts of the 4 basket currencies valued in US dollars on the basis of exchange rates announced at noon every day in the London market. Under its article of agreement, the IMF may allocate SDR to member countries in proportion to their IMF quotas. Let's discuss IMF and the developing countries and its future. If we see IMF in the evolving global financial system from the perspective of developing countries, there is a consensus on certain issues such as the scope and purposes of its lending operations that IMF should continue to provide all its members, including the poorest, and that its resources should be available for solving the financial crisis as well as for providing help with macro level relevant structural reforms. But on various other issues, there still remain substantial differences between industrial and developing country views, including on the extension of IMF surveillance to cover the adherence of international principles and codes. The modalities of the involvement of private sector in solving the crisis with special reference to the development of arrangements in the international sphere are still largely unsettled. The opening up of capital account and the choice of exchange rate regimes are two interconnected areas in which there are conflicting international perspectives. The scope and content of IMF conditionality raises the issue of how to reconcile it with the significance of assuring country ownership. Developing country perspectives are budding in all these areas, especially on the issue of private sector participation in financial crisis deterrence. However, the preference in general is for a rural-based framework rather than a case-by-case framework. There are 4 areas of immense significance to developing nations where the international rebate has always been muted or has been largely absent in the recent literature. These relate scrutiny over and synchronization of the macroeconomic policies of the 3 principal international currency issuers, the relationship of international and regional arrangements, the allocation of voting power in both IMF and the international system generally, and the future progression of the international reserve system. Let us now discuss India and the IMF. India joined IMF on December 27, 1945 as one of the IMF founding members. While India has not been a frequent user of IMF resources, IMF credit has been instrumental in helping India respond to emerging balance of payments problem on 2 occasions. In 1981-82, India borrowed 3.9 billion SDR under an extension fund facility, the largest collection in IMF history at the time. In 1991-93, India borrowed a total of 2.2 billion SDR under 2 standby arrangements, and in 1991 it borrowed 1.4 billion SDR under the compensatory financing facility. India has not taken any financial assistance from IMF from 1993. All the loans taken from IMF have been completely repaid on 31st May 2000. In IMF, the ex officio governor on the board of governors is the finance ministers. RBI governor is the alternate governor at the IMF. Currently, Dr. Rakesh Mohan, an executive director, represents India at the IMF, who represents 3 other countries as well, with Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Bhutan. In the 14th General Review of Quotas 2010, from SDR 5,821.5 million, India's total quota has been increased to SDR 13,114.4 million. With this increase, India's share would increase to 2.75% from 2.44%, which is the 8th largest quota in the IMF. Though if voting share is considered, India, along with its constituency countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Bhutan, is ranked 17th in the list of 24 constituency at the executive board. Moving on to discuss the World Bank. The IBRD, popularly known as the World Bank, was created because of the deliberations of the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference held at Bretton Woods. The World Bank was set up on 25th of December 1944. It is like a cooperative made up of 188 member countries. At the World Bank, these member countries or shareholders are represented by a board of governors who are the definitive policy makers. Mostly, it is the ministers of finance or the Minister of Development who becomes the governor of the member countries. The 2 major goals to be achieved by the World Bank Group for the world by 2030 are: first, end acute poverty by decreasing the percentage of people living on less than $1.25 a day to no more than 3%. Second, promote shared prosperity by fostering the income growth of the bottom 40% for every country. The World Bank is an important source of financial and technical assistance to the emerging or developing economies around the world. It makes available low interest loans, interest-free credits and grants to these economies. These bears for a wide array of investments in important areas such as education, health, public administration, infrastructure, financial and private sector development, agriculture, and environmental and natural resource management. Let us now understand the functions of World Bank. The following are the key objectives or functions or issues taken up by the World Bank. First, assist in reconstruction and development of its member countries. Second, increased transparency and access to information. The World Bank offers a mounting range of free, easy to access tools, research and knowledge to address the world's development challenges. Third, increased participation and World Bank is reforming to improve the voice and representation of developing and transition countries in the bank group with an additional board seat for sub-Saharan Africa. World Bank is also reforming to increase the voting power of developing countries to 50% at least over the time. Fourth, promote accountability and good governance. Fifth, improving the risk management. A major effort is underway to reform the bank's investment lending model so that it responds better to the borrower's need and a changing global environment. Promote foreign private investment. Next, we will study the membership and organization. To become a member of the bank under the IBRD Article of Agreement, a country must first join the IMF. The members of IMF automatically becomes the member of the World Bank, and so there are presently 188 members. If a country resigns from the fund, it can no longer remain a member of the bank. The organization in the World Bank group are mostly owned by the governments of its member countries, which have the ultimate decision-making power within the organizations on all the matters, including policy, financial or membership issues. The boards of governors and the boards of executive directors of the member nations govern the World Bank group. They normally meet at least twice a week to oversee the bank's business, including approval of loans and guarantees, new policies, the administrative budget, country assistance strategies, and borrowings and financial decisions. These bodies make all major decisions for the organization. The meeting of the board of directors in the World Bank group is chaired by the president Jim Yong Kim, and he is responsible for overall management of the bank as well. The president is selected by the board of executive directors for a 5-year renewable term. Institution of World Bank. There are 5 organizations in the World Bank which are as follows. First, the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, known as IBRD, which was set up in 1944 as the original institution of the World Bank Group. IBRD aims to reduce poverty in middle countries and credit-worthy poorer countries by focusing on sustainable development through loans, guarantees, risk management products, and analytical and advisory services. IBRD raises most of its funds from the financial markets all around the world and is one of the most established borrowers from 1947 when it first issued bonds. The income that IBRD has generated over the years has allowed for development activities of the fund and to guarantee its financial strength, which makes it possible for it to be able to borrow at low cost and give client good borrowing terms. Second, the International Development Association, known as IDA. IDA is the World Bank's fund for the poorest. Set up in 1960, IDA aims to reduce poverty by offering loans and aids for programs that promotes economic growth, decrease inequalities and leads to improvement in living condition of its people. IDA is one of the largest sources of assistance for the world's 82 poorest countries, 40 of which are in Africa. It is the single largest source of donor funds for the basic social services in these countries. IDA gives credit money on concessional terms. Generally, IDA charges very nominal or no interest at all, and the repayment can be stretched over 25 to 40 years, which also includes a 5 to 10 years of grace period. IDA also makes available grants to economies which are at high risk of debt distress. Third, the International Finance Corporation, known as IFC. IFC is the topmost global development institution with all its focus entirely on the private sector. It helps developing economies accomplish sustainable growth by financing investment, mobilizing capital in international financial markets, and providing advisory services to businesses and governments. Fourth, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, known as MIGA. MIGA, that is MIGA, was set up in 1988 to encourage foreign direct investment into developing economies to sustain economic growth, reduce poverty, and improve the living standard of its people. MIGA fulfills this mandate by providing political risk insurance or guarantees to investors and lenders. From this time, it's established in 1988, MIGA has given out more than $28 billion in political risk insurance for projects in a large variety of sectors covering all regions of the world. Its association is available to all IBRD members. Next, we shall discuss about the World Bank and the developing countries. World Bank has made sincere efforts to secure assistance for developing countries since its inception. In its recent meeting in 2014, World Bank announced that it would nearly double its potential lending to the middle income countries like China, India and Brazil, which adds around $100 billion in the capacity to finance in the coming decade. The bank intends to increase its lending without asking its member for new contributions. World Bank and India. India's partnership strategy for the period 2013 to 17 by the World Bank Group will support India set the foundations for achieving faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth as provided in the government's 12th five-year plan. The World Bank Group will help India with an integrated package of financing, advisory services and knowledge. An important feature of the new strategy is the major shift in support towards low income and special category states where mostly poor and disadvantaged people of India live. This is the institution's first country level strategy to put precise goals in order to reduce poverty and increase prosperity of its poorest people. This new strategy proposes a lending program from $3 to $5 million every year over the next 5 years. 60% of the credit will go to the state government funds projects, and half of this, that is 30% of the total lending, will be given to low income or special category states, increased from 18% of lending during the previous strategy. Now, we will discuss about the IMF and the World Bank. The World Bank and the fund share the same goal of improving the living standards of their member countries. The fund focuses on macroeconomic issues and the World Bank focuses on long-term economic development and poverty reduction. Thus, in this way, the approaches to the goals are complementary. The Managing Director of the IMF and the President of the World Bank gather on a regular basis to discuss on most important issues. When a country's general economic condition is asserted by IMF, it provides inputs to the bank's assessments of potential development projects or reforms. Similarly, bank advice on structural and sectoral reforms is taken into account by the IMF and in its policy advice. World Bank and the fund works together to trim down the external debt burden of the most heavily indebted poor countries. The World Bank and the fund are also working together towards making financial sector in member countries tough as well as well regulated. Let us now summarize what we have studied in this module. IMF and World Bank both were established at Bretton Woods in 1945. IMF, also known as the fund, ensures the constancy of the international monetary system to keep the system of exchange rates and international payments stable, that makes it possible for nations to deal with one another. India is one of the founding members of IMF, and IMF credit has been instrumental in helping India act in response to rising balance of payment problems. The IMF members automatically happens to be the member of the World Bank, and so there are at the moment 188 members in both the institutions. World Bank has evolved as a catalyst for development and reconstruction after the war to the current mandate of worldwide poverty alleviation. World Bank as one organization works with the help of 5 institutions: IBRD, IFC, IDA, MIGA and ICSID. World Bank has helped India set the basic structure for achieving faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth.